Hello. Welcome, guys, and welcome to another video of Under the Radar Boxing. I'm your host, Bishop Down, aka the Swarthy One, and just doing an aftermath video to the to fights that we had this weekend. I'm actually watching some of the post-fight press conference from the Gervonta Tank Davis and Barrios fight.
No, I was young. I'm sorry, I was younger than that.
So you guys have been watching it. You've seen the post fight as well. So I'm just kind of watching the end of it. I heard some of it before, but pretty much the same thing though. But kind of like what I get from it, what I'm getting from the whole thing about Tank Davis. But but before I go into Tank Davis, let's just go back and kind of do a overview of the fights that happened.
Congrats, champ.
What's this?
You dropped him twice in the 8 to the head, and then you dropped him again later to the body. Did you kind of feel that maybe his body was softening up a little bit? Maybe you need to switch up the game plan?
No, my coach told me to go to the body, and then I went to the body. But when you got somebody hurt, you can try and heal it. So he brought me back to myself, like go to the body, So I went to the body, and that's why I caught him.
I also noticed that there was a point in the fight where you just kind of started walking him down, and it was a little strange seeing, like the smaller guy walking down the bigger man. Why'd you do that?
Because going into the fight, not going into the fight, just like warming up. It was like he touched me a little, like a little pat, and I guess they was counting it. So I thought when it gotta be like issue. So they were saying I was down, so I'm like, damn, I'm down. But he was outworking me because he was throwing he wasn't throwing big shots. He was just basically what Leo was doing. So, my team told me to pick it up, and that's what I did.
Tank, congratulations. Tonight was your coming out party as one of the best
Listen to Ellie.
fighters in the world.
Yes.
Division champion.
This is Ellie.
Did it sink in yet?
I always,
Ellie.
just
Ellie's there.
taking it a day at a time. I'm thankful to be in this position again. I'm ready for the next step. Ready to, get back in the gym. Definitely continue to run and stuff like that. Get back to Vegas and start training more.
Tank is ready.
Legend's gonna be mad at me for the next question. 147?
Not right now. Not right now. I let Floyd take over that.
Ellie. All right. Well, I'm gonna keep talking over this thing. First of all, I want to say what I really noticed about Tank Davis. Tank Davis, he's a student. He's a student of the game. He's still learning, and he has a long way to go. Also,
Tank, this is Dana from the Baltimore Afro-American newspaper. We are so proud of you in Baltimore.
Thank you.
And you have been poured into by so many people.
see,
How do you recommend that
this
others
what
in
I'm
West
saying.
Baltimore can be poured into?
What you mean by body?
You've been supported by so many people.
Yeah, that's and they're saying the same stuff I'm getting ready to
I
say.
could just say thank you. And,
Yeah.
it wasn't overnight.
Tank,
Baltimore,
he has a lot of support. He has so much support.
I'm definitely grateful to have him behind me.
He has so much support. He's like,
they leave that city and forget where they come from.
it's like he's like a little kid.
Even though,
He's still a little kid.
Always drama, but
Listen to him.
I'm thankful for the support that Baltimore always showed me. I'm thankful for my team period, my city back, just everybody that support me all around the world, and I want to continue doing great things so I can be able to get that support.
If you're still trying to figure out how to start an online business,
Yeah, like Tank has a lot of support. He has a lot of support.
Tank, another great night at State Farm Arena. Another show out here in Atlanta. Can you talk to me about
ATL
performing once again in Atlanta?
ATL.
I didn't really look into the crowd this time. I was so into the fight, but I was watching some. I forget the guy name. He tried to sign me back when I was in amateur. They was talking trash, but just happy to be here, man. Happy.
ATL shout out to the land. That's what we do.
They came out. You know, thank you to Atlanta, Baltimore, and whoever else came out. You know, again, thank you, Al Hammond. Thank you, May.
Okay.
The Emmy Award-winning epilogue.
What's this shit?
The main event will be on show stuff that you have.
That's some guy.
Big round of applause.
Thank y'all.
Wait, is that where Mayweather pushed him over? Hold on, I'm just watching. You know Mayweather's there. Mayweather's there, of course, because you know he's part of the promotion thing and stuff like that. So Mayweather's just there for that. So taking pictures. Oh, that's Steve Espinoza. Steve Espinoza. So we're gonna get to all this stuff in a minute. Sorry, guys. I was just watching this and finish watching this. A few more minutes. Floyd Mayweather there, Leonard Ellaby, his trainer Steven Espinoza, and Baltimore boys. Yeah, there you go. Alright.
if you're still trying to figure out how to start an online business,
Alright guys, so I just had to watch the rest of that. Oh look, he did a backflip off the top ropes. That's pretty fucking awesome right there. I want to see his backflip. But you know, before I was even watching the fight, bam, easy. All right, okay, guys, that's my thing. Okay, so before I was even watching the fight, I believe that Tank was gonna knock him out with a body punch, and I just felt that way just from watching the undercard fights. And you just watch guys, how they box, and a lot of times when you're watching boxing, you think, you know, you may see a shot, you may see something open that the fighter doesn't see, or something that the coaches don't see, and that happens. That is boxing. A lot of times, you know, you get in there. I'm not a boxer, I don't know, but I know from doing things of habit or doing things that work. Just in any kind of situation like that, where you know you do things that work for you, and somebody else may see things differently that may work as well, because there's always more than one way, because we always see things differently. Everybody sees things differently, and there's more ways to get the job done. So a lot of times when you're watching boxing, you do see, you know, shots available, but the fighter may not necessarily see that because they're focused on one thing and it's working for them, or they're focused on one thing and it's not working for them, and they don't know how to adjust to that, right? Adjustments or whatever. So as I was going back, and I watched the Lomachenko fight too. I watched parts of it, but I didn't watch all of it, partly because of the commentation, and then secondly because I pretty much knew what was going to happen. Just from watching the pattern, you know, nothing was going to change. And when I watched the Tank Davis fight, I actually watched it without any sound. I watched it no sound, no commentators. I feel like that's the best way to even watch a fight, is with no sound or no commentators, because they are very biased, you know, when they're commentating, and a lot of things they say that happens don't happen. You know what I mean? because the actions happen so fast, and they're not boxers. Some of them, some of them are boxers, so they can tell you. There's been so many controversies and stuff like that, but blah 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 blah. But so going back, there was a fight. I forget which card it was, but it was it was on the Lomachenko card. This guy, I think his name is Akhmenov or whatever. He was fighting a former champ. I think his name was Bob something like that. I don't know. But this guy was washed up. The Bob guy was washed up. I mean, I could tell just the way that he was boxing. He wasn't throwing anything hard. He wasn't really trying to commit. He was just basically in there to survive. And the other guy, Akhmenov, was just constantly hitting him with left hands, straight left hands, straight left hands to the face, left hands to the body, left hooks, coming off his jab, coming off the jab. He kind of, his style almost is, I'm talking about Akhmenov. His style is more like a Pacquiao-ish, Lomachenko-ish style, because I think Lomachenko's trainers train him or something like that. I don't know. But the thing that I saw was the right hook was available. A right hook to the body, right hook over top, overhand right, whatever, right? Because when, I guess the way it is, if you're a southpaw, if you could throw an overhand right, but it would be considered like a right hook, I think, because you wouldn't necessarily have an overhand, because that is not your strong hand. It'll be an overhand left. As opposed to a straight left, right? I don't know how to throw punches. I'm just saying. But anyway, but the right hook was available. The right hand was available so many times, but he just kept throwing the left hand because it was working for him. I don't know if his coaches told him to throw the right hook, but they didn't. But that was an example in that fight of kind of like your team. You know what I mean? Because I was saying that Tank Davis has a great team. Tank has a great team. He has great support, and he's gonna go a long way with that support, because that really helps. Because when you got support, that's gonna just, when you got the support, you got the right support, that's gonna take you all the way to the top, baby, and you're gonna stay at the top for a long time. I mean, we can make a reference, and and sometimes you can make references to movies, because they do tell that story. And the perfect movie is Rocky. The perfect movie is Rocky. That's a perfect movie, boxing movie, about having support. You watch the Rocky movies, you understand that. I was watching some of the Rocky movies. I watched Creed, and they got me so pumped up that I wanted to watch Rocky. And I watched Rocky 1, 2, and 3. And after the end of 1, I freaking cried, man. I freaking cried at the end of 1. It was like crazy. I cried at the end because it was very emotional. But you can see the support that Rocky had. He had great support. His wife Adrian and Mickey, even Paulie, and the whole city of Philadelphia were supporting him. That was what he stood on. And when they got back behind him, there's nothing that can stop Rocky. And then you look at the way that the fight turned out. Apollo was so impressed by Rocky. And he knew he had something special when he picked him to fight him. But he knew he had something special. Something so special that he was like, you know what? This guy's the next thing. And the second fight was pretty much a passing of the torch fight. As they talk about a passing of the torch. And he passed the torch to Rocky. And Rocky benefited from the support that Creed gave him. Anyhow, but support. So the next fight was Eric Lubin versus Jason Rosario. So this fight, I watched the fight. I watched the fight no sound anyway. Was it sound I was watching it? I think it was on and off. I would turn it on anyway. I mean, sometimes, like I said, a wise person once told me, wise woman, she said, sometimes if you watch TV, watch it without the sound. You'll notice a lot of different things that are going on. But anyhow, so Eric Lubin Rosario, and of course, Eric Lubin did his thing, but you know Rosario, he doesn't like Rosario. He would come in wanting to punish to the body and do some damage, but he would come in with his hands up high, but he didn't jab. He wasn't using his jab. He was just coming in high hands, and Lubin was just picking them apart, standing there picking them apart. And when Lubin got going, Rosario couldn't take the punishment. He couldn't take the punches. So I think that's a situation with Rosario that, you know, they know when he lost to I think Jamal Charlo. So I mean, 'cause you can come in with that style, but if you're not throwing, if you like, and I was just saying last night when I was watching these fights, and we'll talk about Lomachenko too. Like some fighters don't have to use their jab. A jab is necessary, but some fighters didn't need to use their jab. And then some fighters, you know what I mean, that jab was, you know, their superpower, the super weapon. You know what I mean? Like, you know, guys like, you know, Ali, super weapon, the jab. What do they call him? Hell, Thomas the Hitman Hearns, super jab. Sugar Ray Leonard, jab. I'm trying to think of the name they gave him. You know, Larry Holmes, jab. Lennox Lewis, jab. Emmanuel Stewart perfected Lennox Lewis, jab. Floyd Mayweather, jab. Errol Spence, jab. Like, you know, some guys, you know what I mean, that's their weapon. But some guys like Mike Tyson don't need a jab. Well, I'm just thinking of some other people before I say it. Back to jabs, Andre Ward had a good jab. But Andre Ward, he fights a little differently. He don't need a jab. Andre Ward don't really need the jab, but he do. Canelo Alvarez, Canelo don't need a jab. He does jab, but you know, Canelo is a different type of fighter too. He don't necessarily need a jab. What's that guy named? Better Beef don't need a jab. You go back, I don't know. Floyd Patterson didn't need a jab. Freaking Joe Frazier didn't need a jab. Freaking George Foreman didn't need a jab. Tank Davis don't need a jab. Teofimo Lopez don't need a jab. You know what I mean? Like, they can fight without using the jab predominantly as their choice of, you know, their weapon of destruction because of the way they fight, the way that their style is. But if you're just going to walk in with your hands up and not jab, you know what I mean? I don't know about that style. You know what I mean? It works for some people. I don't know. But it wasn't working for Rosario. Not at all. Because Spence does that too. But Spence comes in with a jab. Spence don't really come up with his hands up like that. Not like a Joshua Colley like some people are saying. Spence don't come in like that. You know what I mean? Spence gives you different little things. Spence is always working. He's always jabbing. And his jab is like a rifle. His jab is like that jab is like that tactical rifle. You know what I mean? He's like pop pop. You know what I mean? It's a strong jab. And he works off of that jab. Tank Davis, watching the Tank Davis fight, Tank didn't use jab, but you know, Tank will come in with his hands up, but his style of fighting is like, if you punch at him, that's what he wants you to do. He wants you to punch. He wants you to punch because he's getting his distance, he's getting his range. Watching that fight for the first 2 rounds, Tank didn't do anything. He just sat there and collected data, watching him, threw a couple of fights, listened to his coaches, watching him. And then when they saw what they need to see, you know what I mean, they just get him, you know what I mean, sick him. And then he took him out. But I thought it was going to be a body shot from the beginning. Just the way that, you know, some guys will hold up their hands like this. Their hands are up like this. The body is open. And then if you watch him the feints that are being given, and then they take the feint. That means they're dropping their hands. They're dropping their hands, or their hands are going up, or they're dipping. They're reacting to those feints. And when you start to react to the feints, without, you know, understanding or knowing, then, you know what I mean, you're dog meat, right? Because the feints are what get you, man. The feints are what get you. That's why he got caught by that right hand, because his coach has seen that. And I saw it too. I just like, but that's the way Tank fight. Tank got power in both hands. He'll throw rights and lefts at the same freaking power. It don't matter. And I was just like, man, this man's going to hit him to the body and he's going to go down. And sure enough, that was the last punch that knocked him out, because he started hitting him with some really sharp body punches. But that right hook, whoo. You hear in the interview, he said he feinted him to the left and it came over with that hook. And that shot knocked him back. Anyway, Barrios, good fighter. I didn't like the fact that he came out in pink and lavender. I don't know if that was sending the message. I don't know. I didn't like it. I thought I had text, you know. Anyway, congratulations to him. Glad nobody got hurt. Now, Lomachenko. So I just stopped watching Lomachenko fight because I already seen what's going to happen. I mean, and it seems like sometimes it's scripted, because we already knew that Lomachenko's shoulder was a problem, and they keep talking about his shoulder. So his shoulder, but they say that it's not an excuse, but then they're saying it's an excuse. It's just crazy. So I already know Lomachenko's going to come out and just hammer this guy, because, you know, that's what they wanted to see. So he goes up against a guy who's not as fast as him, and definitely not quicker than him. A guy who's longer and lankier, which he's going to be a slow reaction time, and a guy that's susceptible to being knocked down, knocked out. You know what I mean? They stopped the fight anyway. So, but it was a good fight. You know what I mean? You know, I guess the old Lomachenko's back. They say the old Lomachenko's back, but you know, but that's what the analyzers do. And you know, all these people, you know what I mean? They love Lomachenko. They love Lomachenko. So it's already a pro Lomachenko fight crowd. And I'm pretty sure, you know, it's a pro Tank Davis crowd too, but I guess, you know, it's two different fighters fighting two different fighters in two different fights. And I always say, you know, you can try to compare a fighter's last performance with their upcoming performance, but it's never the same, because they're different fighters, different styles, different training methods, different ways, you know what I mean? So, like, this guy will not fight this way. He won't fight the same way the next time. Or maybe he will. You know, I don't know. Like I said, it's just different, you know what I mean? It's just different, you know, you don't really know. But you can't really base it on their last fight. Because they may have gained something, they may have lost something, you know, you don't know. So, you know, Lomachenko fighting Nakatani, you know what I mean? I already knew Loma was going to win. Now, Nakatani was hitting him with some really good body shots, but he really couldn't get his placement on it, and Loma was just walking through him. Not enough. And see, that's the difference between when Lopez fought Lomachenko the first time. I believe that there was nothing wrong with his shoulder. I believe that he was surprised about how fast how fast Lopez was, and the fact that he was getting hit to the body when he normally don't get hit to the body, because nobody goes after his body. Not like Lopez did, and maybe that guy that beat him, Salido or whatever. Like I said, because Loma has his hands up high. Loma always has his hands up high. And Loma has a long body. You see his body is long. He got a long body. So there's a lot of space to get hit in the body. And they capitalized on that. I mean, Loma was getting creamed to the body. And I think that kind of just slowed him down in the beginning. He was like, holy shit, what's going on? And then he was just like, well, I gotta fight now. And then when he came out and fought, it was a different fight. But see, I think, again, if Loma would have came out like that the first fight, I think it would have inspired Lopez to take it to another level. Because you see, Lopez didn't take it to another level until he got to the last rounds. But it'll still be a good fight for a rematch. I still think. I still feel that Lomachenko should fight Haney, but of course, maybe not. Maybe, like I said, maybe Lomachenko's looking to cash out. Maybe he's looking to get his belts back, and then maybe fight Haney. I don't know. I mean, he could definitely fight Tank Davis, Lomachenko, but we don't know if that's going to happen. I mean, because you have to look at, the promoters and stuff like that. I'm almost at 30 minutes. I gotta go out and I was cutting the grass, but I'm gonna go back out and finish the grass. I gotta go wash my wife's car, put gas in it. So that's what I'm getting ready to do. So I'm gonna talk for a little bit more, guys, and then we're gonna cut this video because I love you guys. I know you got better things to do to listen here and talk, to sit here and listen to me talk boxing, in my opinion. But the promoters, it's an easy fight to make Lomachenko versus Lopez again because both top ranked. Haney, no, because Haney is independent. And then Tank Davis versus Lopez or Lomachenko gonna be difficult because you got Showtime, Al Heyman, Mayweather, Steven Espinosa. He's Showtime too, but like all these people, they're gonna get paid. So that's why Lomachenko did not take the Devin Haney fight, even though Devin Haney offered him money, because Lomachenko's promoters and people, they weren't gonna get paid because Haney was putting up the money. So as Haney puts up the money, then he's going to get most of the money back. Similar again to Rocky in the first Rocky movie. Apollo was the champion. Apollo had the money. Apollo had the push. So Apollo paid Rocky what he wanted to pay him. Even in their second fight, Rocky paid him what he wanted to pay him. But you see the way that it works. Even though Apollo lost the second fight, he was still in good financial standards because he was the draw. He was the one putting up all the money. And he made so much money off that fight. So you have to look at it that way too. So like I think the fights between Haney, Lomachenko, the fight between Top Rank and Showtime between these two is probably going to happen at 140. I think it's going to be at 140 when these guys are going to come together. Both of these guys are going to have a major belt, and they're going to fight. It's going to be a collaboration, but I think it's going to be at 140 because Lopez seems to wants to move up to 140, but he still got to deal with his business at 135. Tank already moved up, so Tank's a step ahead. These guys are a step ahead, and I know Teofimo Senior he just talks shit. Teofimo Senior talks a lot of shit. You know what I mean? And the reason why they will not fight Tank Davis now is not because they think they can beat him. I'm pretty sure they think they can beat him, but the money's not there. The money's not there because they're looking to get paid. They want to get paid. Because he's like, if my son has to step in the ring with that guy, with that Godzilla or that King Kong, then he has to get paid for it. He has to get paid because that would be a punishing fight. I think that'd be a great fight, though. I think that'd be a great fight, but I think Tank would win that fight. And the only way I think Tank would win that fight because I think Tank is slightly more intelligent I think he's slightly more intelligent as far as like himself and his team goes. I think their team will put together a game plan, and Tank will execute it. Cause like I said, Tank's like a kid. Like they got him really programmed and dialed in. So when they see something and they tell him to do it, he executes it to perfection. Like he's like the punches that he was throwing, he didn't miss many punches. He was on the money. He was on the money with those punches, and they were devastating blows. When Lopez fought Lomachenko, it seemed like he was in this kind of rhythm thing, right? Where he was throwing the same punches because Lomachenko was doing the same thing. or different types of things like the same thing, but it looked like he was losing focus in those rounds and missing a lot of shots. You know what I mean? I don't see that in Tank. Tank seems to be like really dialed in and focused, and I think that would be the difference in that fight. And of course they sparred before too, and Tank Davis had his number then too. I just see that. And you know what I mean? They want to get paid before they take that loss, I think, in my opinion. I think Tank would beat Haney too. I think Haney's quick and fast. And he's fast and quick, and he throws a lot of punches, but he can't hurt Tank. That's the problem. He will not be able to hurt Tank. And Tank would just walk him down, absorb his punches, and start wailing on this guy. I mean, Haney can move out of the way, but you know what I mean? He can move out of the way, but how many punches can you avoid? Can you avoid the quick? Can you avoid somebody quicker or as quick as you with more power in both hands? You know what I mean? I don't know. Yeah, and he beats Lomachenko too. I think Tank. I believe that Tank will beat all those guys. I believe Tank is pretty much the number one fighter. I think Tank is like he's like the baddest dude right now. Tank is like the baddest dude. Next to Inoue, as far as like weight classes go. You know what I mean? I think they're kind of like the same though, as far as like, because Inoue got power in both hands too. Tank does too. But I think, you know, those two would be like the baddest dudes right now. The baddest dudes right now. Anyway, in my opinion. Well, that's it, guys. I'm out. I'm going to go back to do my chores. Thanks for joining me for the little session. And this was the aftermath. The aftermath of June 26th with your boy, the Swarthy One, on Under the Radar Boxing. All right, I'm out.